हाँ मैम, तो ये करंट अफेयर्स एंड साइंस एंड टेक का आया है, तो मैं यही कर रहा हूँ डिस्कशन। ठीक है, ओके ओके, बाय। ये वो वीडियो मुझे भी दिखना चाहिए, आप इससे कर दीजिए उसको। ठीक है। Good afternoon, guys. Welcome back to PLUTUS IAS. As you all know, the just now the UPSC Prelims examination has been concluded. I mean, still it is going on. One paper has been completed, and second paper the students are about to start. I mean, so from PLUTUS IAS, we are trying to provide analysis for each and I mean all the questions that are there in the GS one question paper, right? So subject wise we are going to have the analysis for the prelims, all the questions. So one by one all the subjects we will try to have an analysis. Apart from that, the correct answers for each and every question we will try to have this analysis, right? First things first, I want to tell you that compared to last 2 years, like 2023 and 22, the paper has been relatively tough, especially the 2023 paper. It has been very tough, and because of that you will see drastic reduction in the cutoff marks. Actually from 2022 it came almost 10 marks it has come down. This year the paper 1 seems that it is relatively easy, and it's like the examiners have gone to the periods of 2016, 17, 18. Those years papers used to be relatively easier, and one specific method is there, like elimination method. So in the previous two examinations, 22 exam and 23 exam, the option of elimination, doing educational guessing, that was the main weapon in the hands of the UPSC aspirants who are appearing for the prelims examination. And with this examination, in this examination, you can comfortably use this weapon. I mean, the students who have appeared in the exam, they could have applied it, the elimination method. When you are unable to come to a complete conclusion about an answer, so the way forward for used to be for many UPSC aspirants was elimination method. In this method, you can apply that method and you can solve most of the questions. And one more thing I want to mention here, the tricky questions that were there, lot of tricky questions were there in the UPSC 23 question paper, like two patterns I was repeatedly mentioning it. One something related to the pairing of the questions, and something the other model or pattern of questions that is something related to statement 1 and statement 2, and the combination of those statements that are given in the options. So these two type of questions, they have been asked, they are there, but their number has been drastically reduced this year, and UPSC went to its normal, what should I say, pattern, generally normal pattern. So this is going to help a lot of students who have put in a reasonable good preparation, and they can utilize the elimination of option of elimination. By eliminating one two options, they can arrive at the correct answer for most of the questions. I cannot say all the questions. For most of the questions, they can arrive at a conclusion about the answer, right? So without wasting much time, we will go into the question paper and we will see. So to begin with, we are discussing the questions of both current affairs and science and technology. Most of the questions are, generally the science and technology questions are also tend to be, current affairs based only. So that's why I try to club the current affairs questions and the science and technology questions. I have gone through the science and technology questions. Most of the questions are coming, or they have come from the recent science and technology developments itself, right? So the first question, this is something we can also put this in under the international relations also, but however, because it is a current development, we consider it as a question of the current developments itself, right? Question is, consider the following statements. Statement 1, right? So there is instability and worsening security situation in the Sahel region. Yes, if you have seen, past 1 decade, there is lot of disturbance in the Sahel region. First of all, you should know what is meant by Sahel region. So Sahel region is the region, if this is the African continent, the western and the northwestern part of the Africa, that is known as Sahel region. So countries, very, what should I say, politically unstable countries are there. Lot of, civil war is going on in those countries, right? That's why it is being said that there is a worsening situation in the Sahel region. Second one is, statement 2 is, there have been military takeovers and coups in several countries of Sahel region in the recent past. Yes, this is also a correct statement. So statement 1 is also correct, statement 2 is also correct, and the correct option is both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct, and the statement 2 explains statement 1 appropriately. Right, correct option is option A. Right. Next question. Right. Next question. So answer is answer A. Right. Question number 2. Right. Consider the following statements. Again, the one of our, I was mentioning toughest pattern of the questions. One is the pairing question, and the second one is this one, statements question. So second question also, it is coming like that only. Right. Question is, consider the following statements. Statement 1, India does not import apples from the United States of America. Statement 2, right. Statement 2, right. Statement 2, India, the law prohibits the import of genetically modified food without the approval of the competent authority. Right. So, there are a lot of issues taking on to the genetic modification or genetically modified foods. For the time being, this is, incorrect statement. It is not true that we are not importing importing the apples from India. We are importing apples from India. And right. Statement 2, in India, the law prohibits import of genetically modified food without the approval of the competent authority. Genetically modified food is not, not allowed in India. Not yet we are importing the food, but it is not true. What should I say? There is no regulation that is prohibiting the import of genetically modified or foods into our country. So though generally we are not importing the genetically modified food, but there is no peculiar or particular legislation preventing this. So no. Statement 2 is also incorrect. Statement 1 is also incorrect, and statement 2 is also incorrect. So correct option is right. Sorry. The statement, till now, the genetically modified foods are not allowed into to be imported into India. So yes, this is correct, because there is a genetical engineering appraisal committee is there, right? Appraisal committee is there. This is the body which takes decisions with respect to the genetically modified foods and all the organisms, and over that there is no Ministry of Forests, right? That is there. That will take the Ministry of Forestry, Forest and Environment, that will take the final decision. So the genetically modified foods are not allowed into India. So correct option is option D. Statement 1 is incorrect, that we are importing apples from United States of America, but the genetically modified foods are not allowed into India, right? Right. Next question. Right. Next question. Right. So next question. Question number 7, I guess. Right. Question number 7 is from, again, I would consider this as the question from the science and technology, right? Right. Question number 7. Right. Question is, consider the following statements. Statement 1. Recently, Venezuela has achieved a rapid recovery from its economic crisis and succeeded in preventing its people from fleeing or emerging into other countries. Venezuela for the past decade, it was, suffering a lot from the hyperinflation. Hyperinflation, and to, because of the change in government and aggressive policy measures taken by the Venezuelan government, it could control the economic, economic crisis in the country, and it prevented its people from the country. So this statement is a correct statement. Second statement is, Venezuela has the world's largest oil reserves. Yes, Venezuela, has the largest oil reserves in the world. So this statement is also correct, but you should remember here that the statements, both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct, but statement 2 is not exactly explaining statement 1. So what is the correct option here? Correct option is option B. Both the statement and statement 2 are correct, but statement 2 does not explain the statement 1, right? So that is the question about Venezuela, right? Next one. Another scheme is there, government scheme is there. We are considering the schemes of the government as a part and parcel of the current affairs itself. So the question is, with reference to Digital India Land Records Modernization Program, consider the following statements, right? The modernization of land records, it is considered as part and parcel of the land reforms. There are 5 components in the land reforms. 3 are traditional, and 2 like consolidation of land holdings, and modernization or digitization of land records. It is considered as one of the part and parcel of the land records, right? So the options are, statement 1 is, right, statement 1 is, to implement the scheme, central government provides 100% funding. Yes, this is a correct statement. The central government is providing the funding. Second statement, under the scheme, cadastral maps are digitized. So this is also a correct statement. Cadastral maps means the maps showing a particular land parcel with its boundaries, all its boundaries. Those maps are known as cadastral maps. Second statement, an initiative has been undertaken to translate the records of rights from the local language to any of the languages recognized by the Constitution of India. Yes, Constitution of India recognizes 22 languages. This type of provision is also there. So both all the options given under the scheme are correct. So correct option is option D. Statements 1, 2, and 3. All of them are correct. Right, so you have to have a good understanding about the the questions or government schemes that are there, that are there in the news or important from the point of view of examination, right? So you can expect questions like this, right? So this year you will see lot of questions are there from the government schemes also, like 3 to 4 schemes have been asked in the exam, right? Next question. All right. Next, again, 9th question is also current affairs based question. Question is, with reference to the Pradhan Mantri Suraksh Matritva Abhiyan, consider the following statements. Right, 2 statements are given. Right, statement 1, this scheme guarantees minimum package of antenatal care services to women in their 2nd and 3rd trimesters of pregnancy and 6 months post-delivery healthcare service in any government health facility. So for this question, till here it is correct, right? In the it is providing a package of antenatal services in their 2nd and 3rd trimesters. That is 3 to 6 months, that is the 2nd trimester, and 6 to 9 months, that is the 3rd trimester. So services are being provided, right? This program is not exclusively mentioning, or provisions of this scheme are not exclusively mentioning that there will be 6 months the post-delivery healthcare services are available. So there is no particular provision in the scheme. So that's why, for that reason, we will consider this option as incorrect. Second, option 2, under the scheme, private sector healthcare providers of certain specialties can volunteer to provide services at nearby government health facilities. Yes, this statement is a correct statement. There are facilities for providing, provisions or private players volunteering to provide healthcare services to the people. So correct option is option B. Only statement 2 is correct, right? Next question. So again one more question is from government scheme, right? Next, again one more scheme is there. So sequentially, sequence wise they have given the questions from the government schemes, right? Next question, with reference to Pradhan Mantri Shram Yogi Mandhan Yojana PMSYM Yojana, consider the following statements, right? So 3 statements are given here. The entry age group for the enrollment in the scheme is 21 to 40 years. This is an incorrect statement. The entry age is 18 years. So between people or workers who are there in the age group of 18 to 40 years, they can be enrolled in this scheme. So here instead of 21, 18 should be there, right? Second question, age specific contribution shall be made by the beneficiary. Yes, this is a correct statement. So whenever the person is entering the scheme, the contribution will be decided based on the age that person the age at which the person is there, right? So this is a correct statement. Third one, each subscriber under the scheme shall receive a minimum pension of rupees 3,000 per month after aiming or attaining the age of 60 years. So this is also a correct statement. The pension provisions are there between 3,000 to 15,000 rupees. So a person entering in this scheme will get a minimum pension of 3,000 rupees at least, right? So family pension is applicable to the spouse and in unmarried daughters. So this provision, this is also incorrect. There is no provision there is no provision for family pension, etc., right? So here you can better utilize the option of elimination. Once you know that the age is incorrect, you can eliminate all the options that are mentioning right now, this option and this option. You can easily eliminate option A and option D. Then what are remaining? Option B and option C are remaining. Here both in both the options 2 is there. So you need not worry about the option 2 also. Just you check whether option 3 is correct or not. Sorry, statement 3 is correct or not, right? So statement 3 in our case it is correct. So correct option, the correct option is B, right? Right. So correct option is B, right? Next question. All right. Next question is, all right. This this is also something related to current affairs only, but we will reserve it for discussing in the polity. Right. 12th question. So this is something related to defense and international relations. Still we can consider it in the current affairs. Right. Question is about which of the following statements about exercise of Mitri Shakti 2023 are correct. Right. So question is, statement 1 is, it is a joint military exercise between India and Bangladesh. So here also, if you know the countries which are participating in this exercise, you can easily eliminate this option, India and Sri Lanka, not Bangladesh, right? So if you know this option, that option statement 1 is incorrect, you can eliminate the rest of the available options. You can eliminate the 3 options only. Option D will be remaining, so you can easily pick the option here, right? So all these other statements like statement 2, 3, 4 and 3, 2, 3 and 4 are correct, like it commended in Audh, right? Aund Pune, joint response during counter terrorism operations was a goal of this operation. Indian Air Force was part of this exercise, right? So all these statements are correct, right? So correct option is option D, right? Right. Next question. All these questions are polity questions, just I am skipping them. Right. Polity questions, lot of polity questions are there, right? I am skipping them. Alright, this can also you can consider in the current affairs only, because something related to the foreign, former foreign minister and the present foreign minister also, about S. Jaishankar, Subramaniam Jaishankar. He has written the 2 books, The India Way and Why Bharat Matters. These are the 2 books written by him, Subramaniam Jaishankar. Very easy and straightforward question. If you know the books written by S. Jaishankar, you can easily answer this question. Right. Next question number 16. Right. Right. So this is also something related to international relations, right? Right. So here pairs are given. We will see the pairs. Right. Question is, consider the following pairs. Right. Country, Argentina, worst economic crisis. Yes, this is a correct statement. Argentina was going through a lot of economic crisis from the past decade. Let's say, another country also we have seen like Venezuela, and Argentina is also going through a lot of economic crisis. So this statement is correct. Right. Next statement, Sudan, war between the country's regular army and paramilitary forces is going on. Yes, this is also a correct statement. There is a war going on in the countries, between the country's regular army and paramilitary forces. Why? There are two factions in the government. The army is controlled by the one faction, or he is in the powerful position in the government like president. Another faction is, he is also a prominent figure in the government, and the paramilitary forces are under the control of that person. So these factions are at loggerheads for control over the government or control over the country. So that's why the armed forces under their respective controls, they have started fighting, right? So Turkey resigned its membership of NATO. So there is lot of talk going on about the Turkey's membership in the NATO, because lot of the actions of Turkey, they are going against the spirit of NATO. Like it's increased relations with Russia, and it's importing of S-400 Triumph missile defense missile systems, etc., etc. So all these measures are not amenable to the West, especially US and European Union. So, but not yet Turkey withdrew its membership from the NATO. So this becomes incorrect. So how many pairs here are correct? Only 2 pairs are correct. Correct option is option B. Right? Right. Next question. Right. So this is also something related to international relations only. So I am considering it as part and parcel of the current affairs. Right. Statement 1 is given. Sumed pipeline is a strategic route for Persian Gulf oil and natural gas shipments to Europe. So Sumed is short name for Mediterranean. Next is for Suez Canal. That is there in Egypt and the Mediterranean Sea. Once we cross the Suez Canal from Red Sea, we will enter into Mediterranean Sea. Right. So it is, first statement is a correct one. Sumed pipeline is a strategic route for Persian Gulf oil and natural gas shipments to Europe. Statement 2, Sumed pipeline connects the Red Sea with the Mediterranean Sea, which one of the following is correct with respect to the above statements. So both the statements are correct, and the Sumed pipeline, it is connecting the Red Sea with the Mediterranean Sea. So that's why it becomes very much significant. So correct option here is option A. Both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct, and statement 2 correctly explains the statement 1. So correct option is option A. Right. Right. So correct option is option A. Right. Next question, next questions we will see. Right. This is something related to geography question, so we will leave it. This is also a polity question. This is a history question, and again this is a polity. Right. This question we will see about the Chief of Defense Staff. Again, we can consider this question as part of polity also, because Chief of Defense Staff also comes in polity. But however, we will consider it as part of the current affairs. And the question is, what are the duties of the Chief of Defense Staff as head of the Department of Military Affairs? Right. So permanent chairman of Chiefs of Staff. This is a correct statement. Second one is committee exercise military command over the 3 services of chiefs. Yes, this is also a correct statement. Earlier, 3 chiefs of 3 defense forces, like Army, Navy, and Air Force, they were independently exercising their power. There is no uniform control over them. Now the chief of defense staff, that office will or that officer will have a common control over the 3 defense 3 heads of the armed forces, or you can say defense forces, right? Next is principal military advisor to defense minister in all tri-service matters. Yes, this is also a correct statement. He is the principal advisor. Earlier, the defense minister used to get advice from the 3 different heads. Now, the chief of defense staff, he will give a unified advice to the defense minister about the military, all the military aspects, right? So, correct option is option A, both the statements, all the 3 statements, statement 1, 2, and 3, all of them are correct. Just remember that from our institute, we are discussing the, the set C. We are discussing, A, B, C, D, 4 sets will be there for the question papers. We are, for your understanding, I am saying, we are discussing the set C. So the sequence of questions will come in that way, right? Next. All right, this is also an important question, question number 28. Operations undertaken by the army towards upliftment of the local in remote areas to include addressing their basic needs is called, simple and straightforward question. Unless you know the correct option, you cannot answer this question, right? Correct option is option C, Operation Sadbhavana. So the army has started this initiative, to uplift and take care of the people who are residing in the villages that are close to the border. That program is known as Operation Sadbhavana. Right. Next question. Right. So this is related to geography. Ethics committee, we will also leave this one. Right. So this is also something very interesting question. You can consider it as part of the current affairs, or as also part of the art and culture. Right. The question is, consider the following operation properties included in the World Heritage List released by the UNESCO. Right. All of them, like Shantiniketan, it is not Ram Ki Vav, Rani Ki Vav. There is a spelling mistake. Rani Ki Vav, and sacred ensembles of Hoysalas, and Mahabodhi temple complex at Bodh Gaya. All these are part and parcel of UNESCO World Heritage List, and all these sites are there in the India, right? Among them, these 2 sites, the sacred ensembles of Hoysalas and Shantiniketan, these 2 have been included in the UNESCO World Heritage List in the year of 2023. So each and every, you should be careful of having the list. I mean, what are the heritage sites that are being added to the World Heritage List, right? So correct option is all of them are they are part and parcel of UNESCO World Heritage Site. So option is, correct option is option D. All of them are included, right? Right. So this is a polity question. Right. So again, we will consider this question as part and parcel of IR also you can consider, and current affairs also you can consider. Right. Consider the following countries. List of 5 countries is given. Which of the above countries are frequently mentioned in the media for their low birth rates, or aging population, or declining population? Very interesting question. Very well, and very easy to answer the question also if you have some understanding about various regions of countries. Here, country Italy, it is there in Europe. Japan, it is there in Asia, and South Korea, it is also there in Asia. And remember, all these 3 countries are very well developed countries, and their development is saturated. The rest of the 2 countries like Nigeria and South Africa, they are in the African continent. Still they are developing countries. Still they are developing country, and very well, the population growth rate is very, very high in countries like Nigeria, Kenya, etc., Ethiopia. in all these African countries, the population growth rate is very high. Even it is high in South Africa also. So you should have this much of differentiation. What are the major differences between the developed countries and the developing countries? If you have this basic understanding, you can simply answer this question. So what is the correct option here? Correct option is option A. 1, 2 and 4 are correct, right? So Italy, Japan and South Korea, these countries are facing the problem of declining population or reduced population growth, etc., or aging population, right? Right. Next question. This is something related to economics. All right. Right. This is also economics question. This is a history question. Right, this is also a history question, so I am leaving them. Because of the paucity of time, I could not separate the questions from the entire PPT, right? Don't worry, no problems. Just I am separating the questions. Right. So all these are not coming in the current affairs, or what should I say, science and technology. Right, all this, right. So here again the science and technology questions will start, right? Question: which of the following words or phrases is most appropriately used to denote an interoperable network of 3D virtual worlds that can be accessed simultaneously by millions of users who can exert property rights over virtual items, right? So, correct option is big data analytics. This is not something related to the description given. Cryptography is also something different, not related to the description given. Here, the metaverse, it becomes the most suitable, something related to, 3D world, virtual reality, etc. All these are aspects related to, metaverse, right? So, the description given very well suits for the metaverse. I think, there is Marvel, from Marvel Studios, there was a movie also, something related to metaverse. If you have or had seen that movie, you can easily answer this question, right? So very easy and straightforward question. You can both options you can eliminate easily. Little bit problem you will face here. There is some resemblance with the description given in virtual matrix, but it is not that important. I mean, the metaverse is the most suitable explanation or suitable word for the explanation that is given in the question. So option C becomes the correct answer, right? Next question. This is again economics question, so we will leave it. CSR also economics question, right? Next we will discuss about the radio thermoelectric generators, and very important questions, advancing technology, and you should be aware of these advanced technologies because now most often than not you will be getting questions from the emerging and advanced technologies, right? So question is, with reference to radio isotope thermoelectric generators, consider the following statements, right? Statement 1, RTGS or miniature fission reactors. First of all, you should have understanding about what is meant by RTGS. So they are used in the spacecrafts. They are used in spacecrafts, right? And what is the function of them? There is some nuclear material. The nuclear material that is there in this, what should I say? Equipment is plutonium 238, and this plutonium 238 will utilize the heat generated in the spacecraft or by the spacecraft because it is traveling, and by utilizing that heat, this plutonium will undergo nuclear fission. This plutonium will undergo nuclear fission, and whenever nuclear fission takes place, lot of energy is being released, right? So that energy will be utilized to conduct the activities in the spacecraft. So it is the mechanism that is involved in the RTGs. So they can be considered as a miniature fission reactor because fission of the radioactive material is taking place. So that's why we can consider them as a miniature nuclear reactor. Right. Second statement, RTGs are used for providing or powering the onboard systems of spacecraft. Yes, this is also a correct statement. Third one is RTGs can use plutonium 238, which is a byproduct of weapons development. Yes, plutonium 238, there are various other methods are also there, but especially it is the byproduct of weapons development, nuclear weapons development. So all the statements given are correct. So correct option is option D, statements 1, 2 and 3. Right. Right. Next question number 63. This is something related. Okay. So this is something related to science and technology only. We will solve it. So question is, which of the following is synthesized in human body that dilates blood vessels and increases blood flow? So it is nothing but nitrous, nitric. Right. 63. Right. So it is nothing but nitric acid. Nitric acid dilates the blood vessels and it prevents the blood flow in the body. Right. That's why it is considered poisonous for the body. Right. So very close options, very difficult to isolate them unless exactly the answer. You cannot answer here, but somewhere in the lower classes you might have studied nitric acid is a somewhat poisonous gas and it is harmful for the body, etc., etc. So here correct option is option A. Nitric acid, it damages the human body. Right. Human body, not only human body, animal body also. Right. Right. Another question. Question number 64. Right. Question is, consider the following activities. Right. First statement is identification of narcotics on passengers at airports or in aircraft. Right. Second option is monitoring of precipitation. Third one is tracking of migration of animals. Right. Question is, in how many of the above activities can the radars be used? Right. So this may question may look little bit tricky because radars mostly we are associated with radars in the the tracking and destroying the enemy missiles, or for sending our missiles itself or launching our missiles to the enemy countries. With that only you are mostly here, or the name of radars is associated, but they can be used in all these things like scanning or identification of narcotics. There are X-ray scanners in the radars. They will detect if any passenger is carrying forbidden narcotics. Second thing is in weather forecasting or weather monitoring. Weather monitoring also the radars are useful. We can use them there. Third one is tracking the migration of animals. Yes, we can use the radars to track the objects that are traveling on the space. Do not think that only man-made things. For man-made things we can use the radars to track their movement in the space. For the living organisms like birds also, we can use the radars to track the paths, migration paths of the birds. So all of them become correct. Right. So correct option is option C. All of them are correct. Right. Next, question number 65. Question is, consider the following aircraft: Rafale, MiG-29, Tejas, Mk-1. How many of the above are considered fifth generation fighter aircraft? Right. So none of them is considered as fifth generation. Rafale is there, very well. Recently we have imported or got Rafale aircrafts from France. So it is considered as a 4.5 generation, not 5 generation. Even Tejas also, Tejas Mk-1 is also a 4.5 generation aircraft, not a fifth generation. Mk is little bit backward only, around fourth generation. It is considered as fourth generation. So none of the aircrafts given are fifth generation. Correct option is option D. None of the aircrafts given are fifth generation. Okay. Right. Next is hydrogel, something really very interesting question again. So all these questions are science and technology questions, remember, right? So hydrogels, you know, it is also an emerging technology. Mostly hydrogels are associated with, you know, drug delivery, right? Apart from that, we will see the statements. Along with that, we will try to understand the question, right? Controlled drug delivery in patients, yes, this can be done. Hydrogels are mostly used there. Second is mobile air conditioning systems. Yes, recently there is an experiment to know condition or hydrogels are experimented with, you know, air conditioning. You know what hydrogels can do? They absorb the nearby, what should I say, moisture in the air or humidity, and they can reduce the humidity in the atmosphere. So once the humidity or water vapor in the air is absorbed, the air surrounding air will be cooled a little bit. So in that way they are being used in the air conditioning. So they can be considered as mobile air they can be used in mobile air conditioning systems. Third one is preparation of industrial lubricants. Yes, hydrogels are also useful in them. Right. So correct option is option D. All the statements 1, 2 and 3 are correct. Right. Right. Next question. Right. So 67, which of the following is the exhaust pipe emission from fuel cell electric vehicles powered by hydrogen? So, you know, I think if you have the idea about, you know, green hydrogen, hydrogen fuel cell, you can easily answer this question. So the waste that can come from a hydrogen fuel cell is only two ways which are environment friendly. One thing is water, right? Second one is hot gas. So these are the only waste that can come from a hydrogen fuel cell. So here water vapor becomes the correct option. Other gases that are mentioned, like, you know, none of them will come out. Only water and hot gas will come out. So what happens when water is mixed with hot gas? Water vapor will be formed. So this is the only waste that comes out from the hydrogen fuel cell. So correct option is option D, water vapor. Right. Next question. Right. So recently the term pumped storage hydropower is actually and appropriately discussed in the context of which one of the following? Right. You know, very interesting question. First you should understand what is meant by piped storage hydropower. So it is nothing but, you know, when there is a sloped area, one reservoir will be here and the another reservoir will be here, right? So, you know, when the water, if water is there in this reservoir, it can be sent here. There we can install turbines in between, and when this water turns the turbines, electricity will be generated, and the water again reaches this reservoir, which is little bit low altitude. So in this season where electricity demand is not that much, what we can use, if there is surplus electricity is there, what we can do, we can use that surplus electricity to pump this water to the reservoir which is located on the high altitude, right? So in winter season, let's say winter season or rainy season, we have surplus electricity. So during those seasons, we can send the water from the low altitude reservoir to high altitude reservoir. When the summer comes, right? So, their electricity demand is very high, or energy demand is very high, and we can send water from here to here, and we can generate electricity, and we can supply to the needy people. So how this system is working? This system is working as a long duration energy storage. So we are storing energy in a particular way. We are storing energy permanently or in a long term. So that is the use of pumped storage hydropower. Very novel and very, out of the box solution, we can say, for energy storage. Right. Right. Next question. Next 69, membrane, something related to membrane bioreactors. Right. Question is, membrane bioreactors are often discussed in the context of which of the below? So straightforward question, easily you can answer. So it is membrane, something related to, membranes are nothing but layers. So if you have this idea, you can easily answer this question. So no, waste water treatment is a very big issue in the country nowadays. So this technology is used for treating the wastewater, right? So correct option is option D for this question. Right. Next question. This is economics question. This question we have to take. See, consider the following statements with respect to World Toilet Organization. Right. So statement one is this is it is one of the agencies of United Nations. This is incorrect statement. The initiatives, it is an NGO, non-governmental organization, not an organization of United Nations, right? World Toilet Summit, World Toilet Day, and World Toilet College, all these are initiatives taken up by this organization. Third statement is also somewhat incorrect, because its major objective of this organization is to create awareness generation, campaigns, etc., not to give grant funds to least developed and developing countries. So this statement is incorrect. So correct option is option A. Only statement 2 is correct. Right. So you should be aware of aspects like these also. Right, this is something related to renewable energy. So we will discuss that in environment and ecology. Right. So this is interesting question. We can consider it in the as part of the geography also, economics also, and current affairs also, because government is often coming out with it is trying a lot to develop regional connectivity through aviation. So in this context, the question has been asked. Consider the following airports. Donyu Polo Airport, so it is there in Arunachal Pradesh. Kushinagar International Airport, so it is there. It is there in Bihar, right? Vijayawada International Airport, it is there in Andhra Pradesh, you know very well. So in recent past, which of the above have been constructed as greenfield projects? So all of them, 1, 2, 3, all those airports have been constructed under the greenfield project. Greenfield projects they are being built from the scratch, right? So correct option is option D. Right. Question number 82. With a reference to water, sorry, this is a geography question, so we will leave it. Coriolis Force, this is also geography question. Right. So with a reference to perfluoroalkyl and polyfluoroalkyl substances, PFAS, that they are used in making many consumer products, consider the following statements. Right. Statement 1, PFAS are found to be widespread in drinking water, food and food packaging materials. Yes, this is a correct statement. They are actually used in various sectors like aeronautics, etc., etc. Many other things are there. Aviation, they are used in many things, and because of that, they are contaminating the water and food. Apart from that, they are directly used in food packaging materials. So this statement is a correct statement. Second statement, PFAS are not easily degraded in the environment. Yes, this is also a correct statement. Right, they are not easily degraded. They are like plastics, plastics are not that easily degraded, and these materials are also not easily degraded. Third question, persistent exposure to PFAS can lead to bioaccumulation in animal bodies. So bioaccumulation, when the non-degradable elements enter into our body, they get accumulated in our body. So because of that, after some times, this becomes a hazardous for the human being, right? So all the statements here given are correct. So correct option is option D. Statements 1, 2, and 3 are correct. Okay? Right. Right. So these are questions something related to environment. The question we have discussed that can also be considered as a part and parcel of the environment and ecology also. However, the material mentioned is something related to current affairs and science and technology. So that's why I have taken that question. So I think with this, we will be completing the current affairs and science and technology questions. So just remember that the first part of the questions, a few questions we have discussed that are mostly from the current affairs, something related to international relations and government schemes. Those are current affairs related questions. And after questions after 60, from 60 onwards, whatever we have discussed, those are questions from science and technology, right? So I think these are the questions that are there from the current affairs and science and technology. So briefly, we will take a break of 5 minutes here, and again we will start with the other subjects, other major subjects like economics and history. We will try to see those subjects also. Quickly, we will take a 5 minutes break, and we will start after 5 minutes. Right. Thank you for joining, and stay tuned. After 5 minutes, we will meet again. Right. Thank you. So hello guys, welcome back. Right. So till now we have seen the questions from science and technology and current affairs. Right. Now we will see the questions from economics. Right. The questions. First question. Consider the following statements.
Voor je allereerste optreden.
Everybody happy? Daar is de muziek.
Deze is voor jou, man.
Grote dromen beginnen bij de eerste stap. Scapino, al 50 jaar voor iedereen.
Yes, this is a correct statement because if United States of America were to default on its debt, holders of US bonds, they cannot claim the, what should I say, exercise, they cannot exercise their claims to receive payment. Right. Statement 2, the USA government debt is not backed by any hard assets, but only by the faith of the government. Right. So this is also correct statement. The US Treasury bonds are not backed by anything. They are only, based on the faith of the government. Right. Faith of the government. So this is also correct statement. And this also, because of this reason, they are not backed by any physical asset. They cannot be, holders of treasury bonds, they cannot have, they cannot have any claim whenever the USA declares that it is a default. So correct option is option A. Both the statement and the statement 2 are correct. And the statement 2 explains statement 1. Right. Next question. Right. 42. Consider the following statements. Right. Statement 1. Syndicated lending spreads. 42. Right. So 42. Syndicated lending spreads the risk of borrower default across multiple lenders. Right. This is the first statement. Second statement, the syndicated loan can be a fixed amount, right, sum of funds, but cannot be a credit line. Right. So statement 2 is correct. The syndicated loan can be a fixed amount, sum of funds, but cannot be a credit line. Right. This statement is correct. But statement 1 is incorrect. The syndicated lending spreads the risk of borrower default across multiple lenders. So this is incorrect statement. So correct option is option C. Statement 1 is incorrect and statement 2 is correct. So for the question 42nd, this is the correct option. Right. Question number 43. Right. Right. Again, question is consider the following statements in respect of the digital rupee. Right. A very important question. There are a lot of questions. There are discussions about cryptocurrency, etc., etc. So there is discussion. The Reserve Bank of India also started a digital rupee, central bank digital currency, something like that. The nomenclature is there. Simply it is known as e-rupee or digital rupee. So statements are it is a sovereign currency issued by Reserve Bank of India in alignment with the monetary policy. Yes, this is a correct statement. Statement 2. It appears as a liability on the RBI's balance sheet. Yes, this is a correct statement. It appears as a liability on the balance sheet of the Reserve Bank. Right. Third statement, it is insured against inflation by its very design. Right. This is incorrect. So, there is not direct relationship between the issuance of this digital rupee and inflation. The purpose is somewhat different. Right. Question number 4, it is freely convertible against commercial bank money and cash. This is also a correct statement. Statement 4 is also correct. So correct option is option D. Statements 1, 2 and 4 are correct. Correct option is option D. Right. Question number 51, the total fertility rate in an economy is defined as which of the below. So very interesting question. We have to consider this question as part of the human development, right? So last in the when you study economics, last part of the economics you will study human development. So there this question comes. So question is, it is something related to fertility rate in the economy, right? So in this, the correct option is option D. The average number of live births a woman would have by the end of her childbearing age. So this is the correct definition of fertility rate. Often it is also called as the total fertility rate. Total fertility rate, TFR. So correct option is option D. Ideal TFR, total fertility rate is 2.1%. 2.1. Try to remember this fact. also, right? So this is about fertility rate. Okay, right. Next question. Right. Question number 52. Consider the following statements. Right. Question number 52. Right. Statement 1. In India, non-banking finance companies can access the liquidity adjustment facility window of the Reserve Bank of India. So this facility is not available to non-banking financial companies. It is only available to the commercial banks. Not available to NBFCs, non-banking financial companies. Statement 2. In India, foreign institutional investors can hold the government securities. Right. So this is correct. So foreign institutional investors, FIIs, they can hold the government securities or G6. Third statement, in India, stock exchanges can offer separate trading platforms for debts. This is also a correct statement. Stock market, about the stock market and capital market, you should have thorough understanding to answer the questions. So this third statement is also a correct statement, right? So the stock exchanges can offer a separate trading platform for debts. So correct option is option D. Both the statements 2 and 3 are correct. Right. So next question, question number 53. Right. So question is, in India, which of the following can trade in corporate bonds and government securities? So options are which of the following can trade in corporate bonds and government securities? So correct option is insurance companies. Yes, they can also trade. They can trade in the government securities and corporate bonds. Pension funds, they can also do. Retail investors, they can also do this. So all the above mentioned, they can trade in the government securities and corporate bonds. So correct option is option D. Statements 1, 2 and 3 are correct. Right. So next question, question number 54. Right. Question number 54. Consider the following. So this is something related to, consider the following statement. Options are exchange traded funds, ETF. Second one is motor vehicles. Third one is currency swap. Question is, which of the above is or are considered financial instruments, right? So, the motor vehicles, they are not considered as the financial instruments. The other two, currency swap and exchange traded funds, these two are considered as the financial instruments. So correct option is again correct. Option is D. Statements only 1 and 3 are considered as the financial instruments, and not the motor vehicles is not considered. Right. Right. Next question, question number 55. Right. Question is, with reference to the sectors of the Indian economy, consider the following statements. Right. So, pair 1, economic activity sector, storage of agricultural produce, secondary sector, dairy farm, primary sector, mineral exploration, tertiary sector. So directly you can eliminate this. Right. Weaving cloth, this is a secondary sector. Right. Storage of agricultural produce, this is not secondary sector, right? So again, dairy farm, it is a primary part and parcel of, agriculture and animal husbandry. So dairy farm, it comes under primary sector. So you should be thorough about the sectors of economy, which subsector is coming in, which of the 3 major categories. So here the second pair and the fourth pair are correct. The rest of the pairs are incorrect. So correct option is option B. Only 2 pairs are correct, right? So mineral exploration, either it comes, now, mining is being considered as part and parcel of the secondary sector. So it will come under the secondary sector. Storage of agricultural produce, it is also a primary sector, right? So these are about the, about the sectors. Next question, question number 57. Right. So, right. Question is, with reference to physical capital of in Indian economy, consider the following pairs. Right. Physical capital. The question is about physical capital. Right. So question number 57. Right. Question is, all right. Items, farmer's plow, it is a working capital. Computer, it is a fixed capital. Pairs I am reading. Yarn used by the weaver, it is a fixed capital. Petrol, it is a working capital. So like this pairs are given. Right. If you see here, farmers plough is a working capital, right? So this is a correct pair. Computers, it is not a fixed capital. It is also comes under, you know, working capital only. Yarn used by the weaver, it is also, you know, not a fixed asset, right? Petrol, we can consider it as, you know, part and parcel of, you know, the working capital, because you know now and more often than not, you know, to run the operations you need to purchase petrol, right? You know, computer is also a not fixed asset, right? So right, so if you know, fixed assets are generally, you know, the building that is holding, or the heavy machinery that is there, all these things, you know, in the form of land is also considered as a fixed capital. Building is also considered as a fixed capital. So all these things, you know, which are which depreciate, those are considered as the, you know, working capitals. So you know, correct option is option B. Only two pairs here are correct. Right. Next question, question number 59. Right. Question is with reference to the rule or rules imposed by the Reserve Bank of India while treating foreign banks, consider the following statements. Right. So statement 1, there is no minimum capital requirement for wholly owned banking subsidiaries in India. This is an incorrect statement. There are, you know, for everything, if a bank, I mean, if a person has to come and open his, you know, bank in India, there are prescribed minimum, you know, capital is required, or minimum, what should I say, you know, amount is required for starting a bank, whether that, you know, person is coming from, you know, abroad, foreign person or foreign bank. Even the Indian nationals, even they are also starting a bank, they have to have a, you know, minimum starting capital for starting the bank. So this statement is incorrect statement. Next statement, for wholly owned banking subsidiaries in India, at least 50% of the board members should be Indian nationals. Yes, this is a correct statement with respect to, you know, banking guidelines, starting guidelines, about the guidelines for starting a new bank in the country. So correct option is option B. Only statement 2 is correct. Statement 1 is incorrect. Right. Next is question number 60. Right. Question number 60. Question is, with reference to the corporate social responsibility, CSR, you know, very important aspect, CSR, rules in India, consider the following statements, right? So the statements are, which of the statements given is above, or are above correct, right? Statement 1, CSR rules specify that expenditures that benefit the company directly or its employees will not be considered as CSR initiatives. Yes, this is a correct statement. You know, CSR activities, if they are seen as, you know, they are directly benefiting the employees of the company, the activities are not considered as CSR activities. You know, basic funda or theory behind the CSR activities is, you know, utilizing the activity, you know, the companies are utilizing the resources of the country, like, you know, natural resources, they are employing labor, etc. They are taking benefit of the, you know, resources that are there in the country. So something they have to done towards the society. That is the basic funda behind the corporate social responsibility, right? So, you know, they are utilizing the resources, and some type of negative impact is there on the society or environment. You know, there are a lot of negative externalities, like, you know, pollution, you know, releasing, you know, polluted water, etc., etc. All these things are there. So to overcome or to compensate that, CSR rules have been brought in. If the activity is taken up by the CSR, if they are, you know, directly benefiting the employees, they are not considered as part of the CSR activities. Statement 2, CSR rules do not specify minimum spending on CSR activities. This is incorrect. Actually, there is a 2%, you know, expenditure has been prescribed. Minimum, you know, there is a threshold limit is there in the companies which have, you know, turnover of something like, you know, 500 crores, etc. All those companies, they are mandated to spend 2% of their revenue on the CSR activities. So for the companies which do not have that much threshold, you know, turnover, it has been made voluntary for them, right? For the companies which have, you know, fixed amount of turnover, like 500 crores in a year, they have to spend, mostly they have to spend 2% of their revenue for towards the CSR activities. So here correct option is option A, only statement 1 is correct. Right. So next and last questions from the point of view of economics, right? Question is, with reference to the Indian economy, right? With reference to the Indian economy, collateral borrowing and lending obligations are the instrument of which of the following? Very straightforward questions, but again you can only answer the question when you have the thorough knowledge of this one. So here it is the terminology or instrument of the money market, right? So in this way you should have complete understanding about the capital market and the, what should I say, the secondary market and primary markets, etc. All these things you should be aware of. So with this we will be completing the economics discussion, right? If you see relatively, there are few questions have been asked from the economics. Last year there were around 17 questions. Before that year, almost the questions have been crossed 20. Somewhere around 21 questions have been asked in 2022, and in 2023 around 17 questions from there were there in the economics. Now we can say, if you consider some current affairs questions also, like the number goes from 12 to 14 like that. So in this way we can say relatively there are less number of questions from the economics, right? And the two questions are, not many questions are there from the money and banking, which used to be, favorite area of the UPSC. Only one to two questions are there from the money and banking also, right? So try to modulate your preparation like this, what are the focus areas of UPSC, which are the more targeted areas for UPSC. So in that sense you try to, this year you can easily understand the questions are something related to markets, the financial markets like primary market, secondary market. From that area the questions are more, and from the angle of human development, there are not many questions from poverty, unemployment, human development, etc., etc. So maybe you can expect more questions there from the from those areas, from the, what should I say, in the main examination. Let's hope so. All right. So this is the analysis of the economics questions that are asked in this year questions, right? So we will take a brief break and 5 minutes break, then we will start, or we will come up with another subject. So I will try to discuss the subject of history. There we will see the questions of history. All the questions we will club and we will see together, ancient, medieval and modern history, and also the art and culture. Combined we will try to see the questions, right? So after that the another teacher will take over and he will discuss the remaining subjects. So quickly we will take a 5 minutes break so that the PPT also can be changed, and we will discuss the history questions, right? So wait for 5 minutes, we will restart the session. ये जल्दी खत्म हो जाएगा, बता देता हूँ. सो सर को रेडी रहने के लिए इसमें भी सिर्फ 10 क्वेश्चन ही है, तो 15 मिनट में हो जाएगा, 15-20 मिनट. कन्हैया जब सर को बुलाया. Right. So we are starting a little bit early. The presentation is already here. Right. So welcome back, students. So the presentation is already ready. So that's why we could start a little bit earlier. Anyway, we will see the questions of history also. Right. And we will try to answer them. Right. So if you see the total number of questions asked from the all the areas, like history, ancient, medieval, and modern, and even the art and culture also, there are again not many questions are there. Lot of the questions, I would say the space has been taken by the subjects like polity. There are many questions from the polity, and many questions are there. Almost 10 to 12 questions are there from science and technology. Earlier there used to be little bit less questions, and a lot of questions have come from the something related to current affairs and international relations. If we were to club them together, so lot of portion has been taken up by them also. So that's why we will see we are seeing a reduced what should I say, importance for history questions, right? So anyway, we will go forward. So in whatever way the UPSC tries to ask the questions, we should be ready. So UPSC more often than not keeps on giving shocks to students, so we should be thorough or ready to face all these shocks by the UPSC. So having said that, we will go and see the questions that have been asked from the history, right? First question is, consider the following pairs, and one more thing for your information, just remember to match with the questions that I am discussing. Just I am following the series C. Earlier also I mentioned we are following the series C. ABCD series are there, so we have taken up the series C. So try to match your answers with the series C, right? So question number first question in history, right? First question in history. Question is, consider the following pairs, right? So party is given, its leader are given. So Bharatiya Jansangh, Dr. Shama Prasad Mukherjee, right? Right. So very well, Dr. Shama Prakash Mukherjee was the leader of the Bharatiya Jansangh, right? Second option, Socialist Party, C. Rajagopalachari is given. So very well, C. Rajagopalachari was a staunch Congress leader. He is not at all going to start a new party, and he was not part and parcel of the Congress Socialist Party. So this pair becomes an incorrect pair, right? Next is Congress for Democracy, Jagat Jeevan Ram, right? So this is also Socialist Party, C. Rajagopalachari, he is not associated with that one, right? Congress for Democracy, this is also incorrect, Jagat Jeevan Ram. And Swatantra Party, Acharya Narendra Dev, during between 1920s and 1930s, the Swatantra Party, it played a crucial role in the freedom struggle, national movement. When the Indian National Congress decided to, boycott or non-cooperate with the British, British authorities, they decided not to enter the legislatures, not to have any relation with the British authorities. So, but there was a lot of vacuum created at that time, between the period of 1920s and 1930s, after the non-cooperation movement and before the civil disobedience movement. So that gap has been filled by the Swatantra Party, right? So leader is associated is Acharya Narendra Dev, right? So correct option here is option B. Only two are correctly matched, right? So once again, I would say this is the toughest format of the questions, and the second toughest format of the question is the one which has statements. So brace for these pattern of questions, right? So correct option is option B. Only statements are correct. For two pairs are correct, first pair and the last pair, fourth pair, right? Next question, question number 32. Right. So, right. Question is, with reference to the Government of India Act of 1935, consider the following statements. I would say relatively easy and what should I say, straightforward question, right? Question is, it provided for the establishment of an All India Federation based on the Union of British Indian Provinces and Princely States. Yes, this statement is a correct statement. such a provision was there in the 1935 Act. Second option, defense and foreign affairs were kept under the control of the federal legislature. All right. So, right. So this is also correct statement. Defense and foreign affairs were kept under the control of federal legislature. Practically they were under the control of this Governor General itself, right? So he had veto powers, though it was, kept under the authority of the federal legislature. Federal legislature means which is at the top position. Like, below, this is the federal level, and below are the provinces. Right. So this they were kept under the control of the federal parliament, though because the Governor General had the veto powers, so he can veto anything that has been legislated or acted upon by the federal legislature. So statement is both the statements given are correct. So correct option is option C. Both the statements 1 and 2 are correct. Right. Next question, question number 33. Right. Which of the following is work attributed to playwriter Bhasa? So, straightforward question. The author of the ancient period time and his book. So, Kavyankara Chudamani, this is not related with Bhasa. Natya Shastra, Bharata. Natya Shastra is related to Bharata. Bharata Muni has written this. So, Madhyama Vyayoga, this is written by Bhasa. So you should be careful about, only you have the understanding or knowledge about which particular author or writer has written which book, then only you will be in a position to answer this question. So for this question, correct option is option C. Bhasa has written Madhyama Vyayoga, right? Right. Next question, question number 34. Right. Question is Sanghabhuti, an Indian Buddhist monk who traveled to China at the end of the 4th century AD, was the author of a commentary on which of the below. So again, the Sanghabhuti, who was a Buddhist monk who traveled to China, right? So he wrote this one, Sarvasthivada Vinaya. So this is the commentary, famous commentary written by this particular author. Right, at the time lot of monks or travelers from China came to India, and some Indians also went to China. So in that way you will see lot of spread of Buddhism has happened because of these travelers only. Huansang, Fahian, etc. Those Chinese travelers also, so few travelers also went from India to China. So among them this Sanghabhuti was one among them. Right. Next question, question number 44. Right. So question is, with reference to ancient India, Gautama Buddha was generally known by which of the following epithets? Right. So Nyayaputta, this was not attributed to Buddha. Epithets means the alternative name, something like alternative name. Right. So he used to be known as Sakyamuni because he belonged to the tribe Sakya. Next, he was also known as Tathagata. So these two names or epithets are associated with Gautama Buddha. Question is, select the correct answer using the code given below. So correct code is 2 and 3. Correct option is option B. Right. So Gautama Buddha used to be known as Sakyamuni and Tathagata. Right. Right. Next question, question number 45. Question number 45. Right. Question is, consider the following information. Again, information and pairs are given. Right. So first pair, archaeological site is there, state is given, description is given. Chandraketugarh, it is there in Orissa. This is correct. Trading and port town, this is incorrect information. It is not a trading and port town. It is not a port town. No, it is located in inland. Right? Though it is a archaeological site and it is located in Odisha, it is not a trading and port town. Right. So this pair becomes incorrect. Second one, Iman it is located in Maharashtra and it is a Chalcolithic site. So this information correct. Iman is located in Maharashtra and it is a Chalcolithic site. Chalcolithic site is nothing but, the New Stone Age. New Stone Age plus Bronze Age, where they are living together, where they are happening, that age is known as Chalcolithic age, right? So this Imangaon region in Maharashtra is a Chalcolithic site. Next one is Mangadu. It is located in Kerala. It is a megalithic site. Yes, this is also a correct statement. I think you know what is meant by megalithic site. Megalithic sites are those, once a person dies, so once he is, his dead body is buried, very big boulders will be placed around that portion or part of the land where that person has been, what should I say, laid to rest. So that is known as megalithic. So many cultures in India, at various places we will find megalithic sites. So this particular Mangadu is also a particular site where the megalithics are there. Right. So this is also a correct pair. Fourth, Shalihundam, Andhra Pradesh, rock cut shrines. So Shalihundam is there in Andhra Pradesh, but it is not holding a rock cut, what should I say, shrines. So here you will see Buddhist stupas. Buddhist stupas are present in the or at the Shalihundam. Correct option is option 2. Option B, pairs 2 and 3 are only correct, and pairs 1 and 4 are incorrect. So the location is given in a correct way. The description of the sites given is not correct for pair 1 and pair 4. So correct option is option B. 2 and 3 are correct. Right. Next question number 46. Right. Question is, who of the following rulers of medieval India gave permission to the Portuguese to build a fort at Bathkal? So very direct and straightforward question. Krishnadevaraya, he gave the permission for Portuguese. One thing you should understand, there were a very good relationship between the Portuguese and the Vijayanagara Empire. There were a lot of good relations. Even Vijayanagara rulers like Sri Krishnadevaraya, they employed rulers after Sri Krishnadevaraya also, they have employed a lot of Portuguese people in their military, and a lot of travelers were also there. They came from Europe, and among those travelers, most of them are Portuguese travelers only. Right. So direct and straightforward question. Unless you have the knowledge of the context, you cannot answer this question. Right. Next question, question number 47. Right. Question is with reference to the revenue collection by Cornwallis, consider the following statements. Right. Statements 1, very important area, revenue collection methods. Right. You should have thorough understanding about the collection methods of revenue collection. Right. So the options are, under the Raitwari settlement of revenue collection, the peasants were exempted from revenue payment in case of bad harvests or natural calamities. So this is incorrect statement. There was no such facility when bad harvests are there for the farmers. So whether the crop is successful or not successful, and whatever may be the reason, the farmers have to pay the rent to the jamindars. So that was the thing. So this statement is incorrect statement. Statement 2. Under the permanent settlement in Bengal, if the jamindar failed to pay his revenues to the state on or before the fixed date, he would be removed from his jamindari. Yes, this is a correct statement. That kind of condition was there. If the jamindar was unable to pay to the rent to the British government, jamindar used to act as a middleman between the peasants and the government, right? So jamindar has to collect the taxes from the or rent from the farmer, and he has to little bit he can keep for himself, like 1/20th, 1/10th, like that. It depends. It varies on each and every revenue system, and rest of the amount he has to pay to the British government. So within time, if that jamindar is not able to pay, he can be removed from the jamindari. This statement is a correct statement. So correct option is option B. Statement 2 only correct. Right. Next question, question number 48. All right. Question is, consider the following statements. Again, statement 1, there are no parables in Upanishads. So this is an incorrect statement. Parables are, nothing but short stories, anecdotes we take, two birds are there, two animals were there, the story of, the cow and the lion. The lion catches the cow, and cow says that I have a child to feed at my place, so I will feed the cow, I will feed the calf, and I will come back. So the lion first do not trust, then it chooses to examine the cow, and the cow goes back, gives milk to his baby, and the cow comes back. The lion is appreciative of the genuineness and honesty of the cow, and it lets the cow go. So these are the probables in the Upanishads. There are lot of probables in the Upanishads. So this statement becomes incorrect, right? Second statement, Upanishads were composed earlier than the Puranas. Yes, this is a correct statement. Upanishads were composed before the Puranas. If you see the sequence, first composed are the Vedas, next Vedangas have come, next come the Upanishads, right? Apart from that, the Itihasas are there, epics are there, and then came the Puranas. So try to remember the sequence also: Vedas, Upanishads, then came the epics like Ramayana and Mahabharata, then came the Puranas. Matsya Purana, Adi Purana, Varaha Purana. There are 18 Puranas are there. They are known as Ashtadasa Puranas, right? Right. So correct option is option B. Only statement 2 given is correct. Right. So next question, question number 50, and I think the last question from the history. So question is, which of the following was the latest inclusion in the intangible cultural heritage list of UNESCO? Either one question we have discussed in the current affairs aspect also, something related to UNESCO. All the sites, 4 sites have given. So you can consider this question also as part of the either you can consider it part of the current affairs or art and culture, right? So Garba dance, the correct option is Garba dance. It has been included in the intangible list of, what should I say, list of UNESCO World Heritage Site. So that question where we have discussed in the as part of current affairs, that is tangible sites, cultural, they are also known as cultural heritage sites. Natural heritage sites are also there. Then tangible and intangible, that division is also there. Like Garba dance, it has included in the list of intangible heritage, cultural heritage, right? So these are the questions from the history. So all included, there are not many questions from the modern Indian history. Not many questions are there. Earlier used to be like 5 to 7 questions used to be only from the modern history. Now there are not many questions from modern history. All the questions mostly are from ancient India. Few questions are there from medieval India. Few questions are there we can consider as part of the art, architecture and literature. Not many questions are there from modern India, right? So be sure how the UPSC is changing the question patterns and which subject it is focusing more and which subjects it is not focusing more. So try to have this analysis, right? So with this we will conclude the discussion of history questions also, and briefly we will start the discussion of other subjects. Other teacher will take over and he will discuss the rest of the topics. So be there, don't go away, and try to have a complete analysis of the paper, right? So thank you for joining. Just stay tuned. The other subjects will be covered shortly.
Welcome dear student. So I'm Kanhaiya and this is PLUTUS IAS, and now we will discuss the UPSC questions that have been asked today. So you know the pattern have changed, and now this year UPSC has taken several questions from the topic polity, geography, even environment ecology. So trend you can identify here, dramatically change most of the question borrowed from the very, we can say, the contemporary topic, traditional topics and traditional issues. So we now discuss one by one the questions that have been asked in our polity segment. So Indian polity, about 15 to 20 questions have been asked, and there is very blend. Some questions are quite traditional, some are quite relevant, quite contemporary on contemporary issues. So that is very interesting. UPSC has did a tremendous job, a very remarkable here work UPSC has did performed. Now we will discuss one by one. देखते हैं हम लोग एक एक करके क्वेश्चंस को. So this class, this discussion will be interesting with this regard. So it is question number 3 of the set C. You know what is the nature? So with reference of a speaker of Lok Sabha, consider the following statement. A speaker means the presiding officers. You know very well. So they say that while any resolution for removal of the speaker of Lok Sabha is under consideration, he shall not preside, he shall not have right to speak, or he shall not entitled to vote on resolution in the first instance. Now you know the act, the removal procedure is kind of quasi-judicial exercise. So here the speaker is not on not like suppose the presiding officer considered like a presiding officer, rather he is suppose the accused. So accused must not be the authority to be the suppose the president or the chairperson. So very first statement is true. That is very true and is correct. So one is absolutely correct. He shall not be a presiding officer at that point of time. Reason behind it, if it would be, it will be a violation of the fair principle of justice, and this may interfere in the matter of the process. That is quite obvious. So our constitution has accepted that principles. As far as second option is concerned, that is he shall not have right to speak. It is quite unusual. If suppose accused has not been given right to explain the matter, right to explain the supposed incident, how can we decide it is innocent or culprit? So this is absolutely right, and it is against again the violation of other articles. You know, our article 19 here we may correlate that offers right to speech and expression to everybody, every citizens. So how can a member of parliament shall have not such a right? So it is against the principle. So if we consider here option number 2, now how easy this question was, कितना आसान था देखो कि only option number 2 provide us the correct answer, that is the A will be the suppose correct answer of this question. We need to understand this questions and their answer relation.
Zorgeloos parkeren bij het vliegveld met Parkels. Parkels. Vergelijk en reserveer nu.
Of Indian Constitution deals with the structure, process, functions of Indian Parliament. So what is interesting here, what question says, all bill pending in Lok Sabha lapses on its dissolution. Now consider, we know that we exercises, we have the bicameralism. One house is called Lok Sabha and another house is called Rajya Sabha. How the bill is being enacted or how it came into force depends on some procedures. So bill required to be passed from either house, it may be Lok Sabha or it may be Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. Thereafter it is being presented before the president. This way it works. So suppose Lok Sabha has considered a particular bill. Meanwhile, Lok Sabha suppose lost their majority in the house. In that case, the considered bill may not pass, may not consider cleared by Lok Sabha. So in that case, this statement is absolutely right. So 1 is true here. We need to circle the option 1. So what would be what would not be the answer? C and D would not be the answer. Now we have to suppose discuss only one, A or B. What about options number B or 2? C, we should suppose cross this, mark with cross. This will not be a part of discussion. Now a bill passed by Lok Sabha pending in Rajya Sabha lapses on dissolution of Lok Sabha. So that is true. That is very true. And here a bill considered suppose lapse. So that is the answer 1 and 2 here. B shall be the right answer of this questions. As far as third, so we need not to here struggle with option number third. Reason behind it, only 1 and 2 offers the best result. Okay. Again, a bill regard to which President of India notified his or her intention to summon the House to joint sitting lapses on dissolution of Lok Sabha. So that is not correct. It means that suppose, President is considered as an indispensable part of the Parliament. So if President on particular issue, suppose promulgated the notice, in that case it will continue in effect, it affect the sessions of Parliament, and in future when Lok Sabha is being suppose organized, the same order will be implemented, will be fulfilled. So here the lapse rule will not work. So only B options 1 and 2 satisfy this. Now come to the next question. With respect to Parliament of India, consider the statement. Actually, on process of Parliament, several questions, about 3 questions have been asked in this year. So that is quite interesting. Usually a student what considers? They consider this, it is quite suppose the usual process we may read with ourselves, but here some technicalities is the suppose termination of particular sessions. In our Parliament 4 sessions are going on, are being exercised. Budget says budget 3 session it is. 3 session is being exercised. That is the first budget session, thereafter it is the monsoon session, and thereafter it is winter session. Sometime if the very unexpected situation is there, President may call for a very exceptional session. So these are the 3 sessions. Meanwhile, the sessions, the functions of sessions are being suspended by the presiding officer through this adjourned signed die. So you learn adjourned motion. So adjourned is kind of suspension of regular work. So when suppose opposition party collides with the ruling party, or they start suppose protest, in that case the speaker or presiding officer call for adjournment, and this is suspension of work. But sine die. Sine dies is the situation when the suppose next meeting time is not being determined, is not being suppose clarified by the presiding officer. So that is the usual condition when House or Speaker considers that we should end, we should suppose close this meeting. Thereafter President is asked for this. So option number 2 is quite correct. Next is dissolution of Lok Sabha is done by President in India, who save in exceptional circumstances, does so on advice of Council of Minister. So this is also a correct statement here. Here, dissolution Dissolution. Dissolution means it is the end of the incumbent Lok Sabha. Thereafter, election will be organized by the election commission and new government will form. So this act is the supposed authority of president. Rajya Sabha, you know, are not being dissolved by the president, are quite upper house. So that is why option number C will be the correct answer of this. Now come to the other topic, other question. Consider the following statement regarding Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam. So, as you know, recently government has enacted this by the Constitution Amendment 106. So, 106 CAA offers this, that there will be a 33% reservation of women in our parliament in future. That is the things here by next election after this. So what is the statement here? We need to understand. It were the most expected question. So most of the suppose teacher or the स्टूडेंट एक्सपेक्टेड दिस इन फॉर्म ऑफ क्वेश्चन. बहुत लोगों ने कहा कि ये तो क्वेश्चन बनना ही है और ये बन भी गया. ठीक है. सो नाउ कम टू द पार्ट व्हाट इज द statement here, which of the statement given above are correct. So we need to identify the correct statement here. Very first, provision will come into effect from 18th Lok Sabha. 18th Lok Sabha, you know, we recently witnessed the elections, and this year 2024 election were the 18th Lok Sabha election. This will not be in force, this will not came into effect with this election. Only after the new suppose delimitations by 2029, this may came into force. So implementation, it is quite 5 or 6 years later. Again, this will be in force for 15 years after becoming an act. So here, a very notable thing, it is not a permanent conditions for women. It is a temporary provision. In future, government will assess, government will check the suppose level of gender disparity. If government consider that we achieved the status of gender disparity, government may cease to operate this bill. So that is the nature. It is a factual question. Again, next one is, so we have one wrong options question, option number 1. So 1, 1, 1. Oh, so this is the C left here, and C will be the answer. There are provisions for reservation for seat of scheduled caste and scheduled tribes women. Yes, it is true. This offers a reservation to scheduled caste, scheduled tribes within the cap of 33% reservation. So option number C will be the correct answer of this. Factual question, more factual, less conceptual it was. Now, prohibition. A writ of prohibition in order to issued by Supreme Court or High Court too. Look, actually, you know, there are 2 articles in our constitution. Article 226 as well as Article 32. Article 32 offers power to issue writ to our Supreme Court. So Supreme Court, in case of violation of fundamental right or abrogation of fundamental right, empowered to issue 5 type of writs, you know, which are, it is habeas corpus, mandamus, quo warranto, certiorari and prohibition. Particularly, the prohibition and certiorari are being used to check the operations of lower court and tribunals. That is the reality. Other, like suppose mandamus, quo warranto, even certiorari. One more it was mandamus, quo warranto and habeas corpus. So all 3 used to other purposes. Prohibition and certiorari are quite particular, and they are being used to check the operations of our lower court and the tribunals. So here this we can identify here lower court prohibiting continuum of proceeding of cases. So option number 3 here will be the answer of this questions. It is one of the easiest question, even you can find it in your suppose book. It is Lakshmikant. So Lakshmikant, clarify this. Actually in polity several questions came from Lakshmikant directly, again from classes it is. So I think you can correct 80% question in polity. I think it is one of the most comfortable area for the students. So that is, consider the following statement. It is the governor of a state who recognizes and declare any community that is state as a scheduled tribes. Actually this question based on Article 341. Article 341 of Indian Constitution deals with the declaration of scheduled tribes. So what is interesting here? Scheduled tribes are being supposed decided by the state government, means state government identify on the basis of their traditions, custom, even way of life, that such community belongs to that scheduled tribes. But here our constitution has not authorized a state government to declare them as the scheduled tribes. So this act is being performed by whom? So it is our president. President declares the tribes, the community into scheduled tribes, and governor may suggest, a state government may suggest the community as belongs to the scheduled tribes. So that is interesting here. Option number 1 is incorrect. Now which one is correct? So one is incorrect, one is incorrect. Now we have B and D, we need to identify next. So next, as far as concerned, so here what it says, a community declared as scheduled tribe in a state need not to be so in other state. Actually what is interesting here, if a community have declared scheduled tribe in particular state, in different state their status may vary. Suppose in other state their suppose presentation, their suppose residence absent. So in that case state government may deny that they are not belongs to our territory, so we will not declare them as a scheduled tribe. So it happens, it vary. Some state declares particular tribe scheduled tribes, some states say no, we will not offer them any benefit declared for the scheduled tribes. So it varies. Option number 2 is correct. So only 2B will be answer of this question. Now come to other. With respect to union budget, consider the following question. Budget. So the term budget has not been used in Indian Constitution. Instead, the term annual financial statement is there in Constitution. And budget play a very significant vital role in government operations. Even execution of plan, policy, payment of officer depends on budget. So budget is one of the, we can say, the most vital legal document in our polity. So we should portfolio, that is called the rule. So here second statement is true and first statement is false. So that we have to go with B, and that is the correct one. Now next one. Who of the following is the author of the book The Indian Way and the Why Bharat Matters? It is interesting. Recently this book were published, were written by a famous, renowned and very dynamic personality, that is S. Jaishankar. So S. Jaishankar Sahab recently wrote this book and highlighted the intricacies of our financial policy and attempted to disclose the way India could achieve in future the highest position in world affair, in world platform. Now next point, so here the answer will be S. Jaisankar D. Okay. Now come to other aspect, that is how many delimitations commission have been constituted by the government of India till December. You know what is delimitation commission? It is not a constitutional body. It means that constitution nowhere offer reference of such delimitations. What is delimitations? I think you know very well that delimitation is the commission determines the size of constituency. So you know the member of parliament, particularly in Lok Sabha, faced the crisis, even war, and this practice were left, this practice abandoned. So later in 1977 and in 2007 or 17 it was. So overall it is 4 delimitations commissions so far we witnessed India have had. The next delimitation commission is proposed to be in 2026. So 26 will be the fifth in 2026, the fifth delimitation commission will be there. So correct answer of this question is 4. तो 4 delimitation commission अब तक आ चुके हैं, ठीक है. Now come to the next point, the Constitution Amendment Act 1992, amend in 8th schedule. I said earlier that UPSC has considered the schedule and part now relevant. Last year it was also questions from schedules and part. Now this year again UPSC has delved into the part and schedule. So 8th schedule, you know 8th schedule deals with language. So Indian Constitution recognizes several language. It is about 22 language Constitution recognizes. So earlier only 4 or 5 language were there with original constitution. Thereafter several language were added. Last addition happened in 90 with 92nd Amendment Act. 92nd Amendment Act, it was Bodo, Dogri, Maithili and Santhali were added in 2003. So this question based on 71st. So Bodo, Dogri, Maithili, Santhali were added by 92nd CAA 2003. And this is asking about 71st Amendment Act. So it was the Konkani, Manipuri and Nepali, Maithili were added later by 92nd CAA. So what would be the answer? You know very well, it must be the A. So iska answer A hoga. Now the next interesting. So UPSC has now expanded the territory of Indian polity. Not only the supposed traditional constitution considered by UPSC relevant, but also the practical political change, the role of political party. With this question, we can say become relevant for the student. Now come to the questions. What is question? So it is asking about the leaders who were associated with different political parties. Okay, so it is factual. Usually the students of political science read this. Now come to the options. So how many of above are correctly matched? Bharatiya Jan Sangh. So it was the parent organization of the current BJP, Bharatiya Janata Party. So earlier the Jan Sangha was there and they attempted to challenge the Congress at national level. They offered several alternative policies, the issue. So here Syama Prasad Mukherjee were the founder member of this Jan Sangh. That is very true. So here only one. We need not to go with option A. It is only one. Now Socialist Party. Socialist Party, interestingly, again came into existence after independence, and several notable communist leader, the socialist leader led this organization. Among them, you know, Acharya Narendra Dev, Jayaprakash Narayan led this movement. So, Socialist Party were not related with Rajgopalachari, rather it were related with Narendra Dev. It is wrong. Congress for Democracy, as far as concerned. So, Congress for Democracy were a short-lived party. It were very popular in northern state, particularly in Uttar Pradesh. The Jagjeevan Ram was the, suppose, founder, the architect of this party, Congress for Democracy. As far as Swatantra Party is concerned, so it was Rajgopalachari. So here, what is interesting, only 2, 1 and 3 is correct, other are incorrect. We should consider B option here correct. Now come to other part. Which of the following statement are correct about Constitution of India? संविधान के बारे में कौन सा कथन सही है? आओ चलते हैं हम लोग. अब देखो फिर से ये क्वेश्चन कह रहा है, पावर ऑफ म्यूनिसिपैलिटीज given in part 9A of Constitution. Is it true? Yes, it is exactly true. What happens, you know, 74th Amendment Act were enacted by the government in the year 1993, and it was the president, the Shankar Dayal Sharma ratified this amendment. What happens with this amendment? So new part, that is part 9A, were introduced in our constitution. Along with that, the 12th schedule, 12वीं अनुसूची, were added with 18 dedicated work require the support of 2/3 state. So article 368 mentioned here under part 20, and that is the correct one. So here we may say that, ठीक है, तीनों ऑप्शन यहाँ पे सही बन रहे हैं, and that is why the D is the correct answer of this question. Now come to the next part. Which of the following statement is correct as per the Constitution of India? अब देखो इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन एंड पर्टिकुलरली द schedules, the judge. So when government announced that we collect data related with Aadhaar card, so the proactive eminent personality challenge this. Our constitutions offer privacy and we are the respectful citizen of India. So government may not trespass our suppose our territory of freedom and right to privacy. Violation of right to privacy will affect our life, threat our suppose the public life. If suppose personal information are being unfolded at public forum, it would be a matter of shame. So this Supreme Court later accepted their concern, their argument, and finally declared that yes, right to privacy is the indispensable part of our right to life and liberty. So Putta Swami case here is relevant and option D will be correct one. Now come to next one. The longest, this will be part of geography. So let me check another one. So which one of the following statement about ethics committee? Ethics committee recently was in news. You know, Mahua Moitra, the member of parliament, hails from West Bengal, were declared by, were found guilty of cash for queries. It was cash for queries. So she attempted to ask a question, taking bribes from third party. So this were the issue. Ethics committee identified this act were done by her and declared their membership void, declared their membership invalid. So this were the issue. Ethics committee came into light them. Now consider the statement. So initially it was an ad hoc committee. Yes, it is true. Earlier, it was not the permanent body, not a very regular committee like our public account committee, like our estimate committee. Rather, in 2000 around, government attempted to establish this committee to understand the functions, understand the suppose the relevance of this committee, and this were the initial experiment. Thereafter, it made regular. Only a member of Lok Sabha can make a Sachidanand Sinha. So the story, it is clear to you कि on recommendation of cabinet mission in 1946, elections were organized in India. The Constituent Assembly organized on 9th of December 1946 first. What happens there? So unanimously, Sachidanand Sinha were elected as the temporary or provisional president of the Constituent Assembly. Thereafter, on 11th of the December 1946, it was Rajendra Prasad formally declared as a permanent chairperson of the Constituent Assembly. So this was one of the easy questions. Now, with respect to the Government of India Act 1935, you know, 1935 Act considered the last but very meaningful act of the British government. They attempted to change the structure, functions of the entire Indian legislative administrative entities. So what happens with that? Question is on that things. So 1935 considered the following statement. It provided for the establishment of All India Federation. Yes, it was true. Based on the union of British India provinces and princely estate. So it envisaged, it mooted the idea. But what happens? Princely estate said that no, we will not accept incorporation with the Federation of India. So no federation came into existence till 1950. It only after came into existence when Sardar Patel integrated the entire princely estate with India. So first option is true here. Defense and foreign affairs kept under control of federal legislature. Here it is technical. It is technical. Why? So, you know, 1935 Act change the portfolio system, change the suppose departmentalization system at central level. Earlier, diarchy were practiced at the state level, and this time central government practice diarchy. Some subject were reserved as some subject were kept as reserve subject under the Governor General. So both were the exclusive power of Governor General, and Governor General were responsible for that, not the federal legislative. So that is why only one will be the correct one. ठीक है? अब आओ आगे. Article 368 of Constitution of Parliament that it is relevant. Again, Chief Minister, 3 member and Home Minister. So 1, 2, 3, 4, D will be the correct one. Okay, so these were the questions that have been asked by UPSC this year. Hope you have checked your the questions, your answer, you match there. Now comment how many questions you attempted right, how many wrong question is there. So need not to be afraid about the result. Some more units, some more subjects are later we discuss. So after a short break, I will discuss remaining part, particularly geography, environment, ecology still remain. तो आगे हम लोग geography, environment को देखेंगे. Till then, you should check your performance, write your, suppose the comment your right questions below. Okay, so I'm just coming back with very short a break. Okay, so just arriving soon, shortly. asked by UPSC in your geography segment. Geography. So, this year, what happened? So, after a long period of time, welcome back, dear student. So, now we will discuss some questions that have been asked on your subject geography. After a long period of time, about 5 or 6 years later, UPSC has considered the relevance of geography. Several questions, even about 10 to 12 questions have been asked on this year geography, and interestingly, both Indian geography and the world geography, the conceptual part of world geography, were highlighted by UPSC this year. तो बहुत समय के बाद UPSC ने वर्ल्ड ज्योग्राफी और इंडियन ज्योग्राफी दोनों को टच किया है, और इससे इस साल का क्वेश्चन, द क्वेश्चन पेपर ऑफ दिस ईयर वी कैन से बिकम मोर कन्वेंशनल than contemporary. That is the interesting fact of this year. We need to now cover the questions. Now, first question, that is based on your understanding of world map. First question, that is, consider the following statement. Red Sea receives very little precipitation in any form. No water enters into the Red Sea. No water enters the Red Sea from rivers. So I think you know very well the locations of Red Sea. Where Red Sea, so this is the diagram of Africa here. Africa this way, and Africa, between Africa and this part of our Arabian Peninsula, the narrow and shallow sea found, that is called Red Sea. Red Sea. Interestingly, the area of Red Sea falls under the dry region. So here the natural circumstances of Red Sea is quite difficult, quite against the rainfall or precipitation. So usually here hardly a water of drops fall from the cloud. So that is the nature of star live much longer than dwarf star. Giant star live much than the dwarf star, and compared to dwarf star, giant star have a greater rate of nuclear reaction. So this question actually belongs to understanding of the basic topic. It is suppose universe and the solar system. So we learned earlier that our sun will convert into a dwarf star in future. As far as giant star is concerned, so giant star are the larger star, larger star, and they consist the suppose materials. So the answer, both options are correct here, and that is why both options are correct here. Both statement 1 and giant star lives much longer than dwarf star, and compared to dwarf star, giant star have greater rate of nuclear reaction. So but here correct, but it is not explanation. It is not a correct explanation. So the answer of this question will be B2. Now come to the next part. This is recently pumped storage hydropower. Pump storage hydropower. Pump storage hydropower is actually and appropriately discussed in which of following context? Of which of following context? So actually there are several type of suppose irrigation mechanism, and here this were used for long duration energy storage. So long duration energy storage will be the answer. You can say this is the part of science and tech, not geography particularly. Again, with respect to water vapor, this is the part of our geography and it falls under environment ecology. So with respect to water vapor, which of the following statement is or are correct? It is a gas that amount of which decreases with altitude. Altitude means height. You know what happens? So there is a moderate temperature. You can say that during the daytime or night time temperature remain constant. During January, during December temperature remain constant. Again, precipitation occurs throughout the year. How precipitation occurs throughout the year? There is only condition immense amount of water vapor rises from surface to the atmosphere, and precipitations vary from 50 to 250 centimeter. Now consider 50 to 250 centimeter. That is a huge difference. Here several climatic zone are mentioned: equatorial, China type, humid subtropical, marine west coast. So as far as equatorial concerned, so equatorial fulfills annual and daily temperature low, precipitation, but hardly equatorial region receives 50 centimeter rainfall. It always receives more than 150 centimeter rainfall throughout the year. तो पहला ऑप्शन नहीं होगा. China type of climate known for their variations in rainfall. They receives rainfall, seasonal rainfalls, humid. So here seasonal variation quite remarkable. That is why temperature changes during the suppose warmest month and during the coldest month. Marine west climatic zone. So marine west climatic zone particularly around 45 to 60 degree. Here the western coast receives rainfall from the westerlies arriving from the ocean part. So be it Europe, be it suppose western coast of America receives frequent rainfall. That is the question here. Next one is Coriolis force. Which of the following statement is correct? What is Coriolis force? You know, it is a deflective force. Coriolis force is the deflective force and result of the rotation of Earth. So it deviates the moving object to its right in the northern hemisphere and left in the southern hemisphere. That is the conditions of Coriolis force. So here what is interesting, at equator you all know that Coriolis found 0. Coriolis force found 0. Reason behind it, terminal velocity is the region. So it is maximum at pole. It is true and absent near equator. That is why near pole wind takes the circular rotation, circular form, and polar vertex exist there. Again, as far as the wind velocity and Coriolis force is concerned, so yes, it is true. Though Coriolis force is related with the rotation of Earth, sometime the velocity of wind determines the deflection. If velocity of wind is quite great, in that case there will be a greater deviations. So both 1 and 2 is correct here. C will be the right answer. Now come to the next point, that is on 21st of June every year, which of the following latitude receives or experiences a sunlight of more than 12 hours? What is the thing here? what happens on 21st of June? You know, sun ray falls over the Tropic of Cancer. Cancer. This is the condition of sun ray. Here sun ray, the vertical sun ray falls over Tropic of Cancer. In that case, what happens? So entire northern hemisphere experiences the longest day. At that point, the northern hemisphere, particularly Norway, Sweden, Finland, experiences 6-month long day and night. So this is the place of our sun. Now on the basis of that, consider more than 12 hours. So equator do not receives the suppose expected given time. Rather, equator receives almost 11 hour a day, 11 hour a night, 11, 12. Tropic of Cancer. So yes, Tropic of Cancer means where we are located receives about 40 hours day at that point of time. Tropic of Capricorn. Tropic of Capricorn is the line that found in southern hemisphere. So this point, southern hemisphere experiences the shortest daytime. So that is wrong here. Here, equator. So 1 and 3. Arctic Circle. So Arctic Circle is the circle drawn, depicted by taking the reference of 66.5 degree north latitude. So this receives a very fairly long daytime. So both Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle will have the longest daytime. So this 2 and 4 will be the answer. D will be the correct answer of this. Now, one of the following regions has world largest tropical peatland, which hold about 3 years worth of global carbon emissions from fossil fuel and possible destruction of which can exert detrimental effect on global climate. You know the context of question. Question is looking to know about the equatorial rainforest and their places, their locations. So here, Amazon Basin, Congo Basin, Kikori Basin, Rio de la Plata. Rio de Plata is wrong. Rio de Plata iska nahi hoga. As far as Kikori Basin, this is wrong. Congo Basin will be the right. Congo Basin is quite spreaded, quite vast. That is why 86 as far as concerned, the correct answer will be Congo Basin B. Okay? B will be the correct answer of this question. Congo Basin. Congo Basin were asked last year as well. पिछले साल भी ये पूछा गया है. आओ आगे चले हम लोग. Now, next question we discuss. Consider the following plants: groundnut, horse gram, and soybean, which belongs to pea family. मटर की प्रजातियों में से कौन कौन सा है इसमें? So all comes from the same family, the same genus. So here answer will be all belongs to different family. That is why all are not the member of this family. So this will be D. कोई भी इसका member नहीं है, सब अलग अलग है. Now next one is our consider the following statement. Atmosphere heated by incoming solar radiation and
You spent months. Walk, jog.
this heating thrown by the rotating earth to the far distance, to the farther distance. So that is why here height of atmosphere found exceptionally greater, exceptionally higher. So that is the question, and both are here a statement true. Both are true, and again it explains correctly. So answer will be A. Now Consider the following statement. Pyroclastic debris, ashes, dust, nitrogen, sulfur. Which are among the above are product of volcanic activities. You know what is volcano? What is volcano? So volcano is a vent through which molten material comes over earth surface. This is the volcano. So what happens with volcano? Sometime the fragmented material, particularly the rock, suppose the cooled magma, the suppose gases come through the mouth of volcano. So here the solid material that erupts, that suppose jumps during this volcanic eruption called tephra or pyroclastic. Tephra or pyroclastic material. So pyroclastic and tephra are the same things. It used to refer the solid material erupted through the volcanic activities, while ash and dust, you know, the ash and dust are common. Nitrogen, so whatever the suppose material below the earth's surface, nitrogen is the constituent of most of the substance. So nitrogen and sulfur both arrives over the surface through this occurrence, and that is why all four will be the answer of this. Now come to the next question. Which among the following are correct interference from isothermal maps in the month of Germany? What is isothermal? Isothermal are an imaginary line used to represent, used to join two places having similar temperature. So that is called isotherm. दो एक जैसे टेम्परेचर को मिलाने वाली लाइंस को isotherms कहते हैं. So here what is the question? Isotherm deviates to the north over ocean and to the south over continent. It happens, what is interesting here, कि if you see world map, in ocean the isotherm, suppose in northern hemisphere, it deviates to north. Reason behind it, ocean, warm ocean current, this warm ocean current influences the affected region and this heats up. So that is why this deviates. What about the continental region? So continental region is affected by the polar wind. So due to polar wind, what happens? It again changes their direction. So that is why the first statement is correct. Second statement, presence of cold ocean current, Gulf Stream, North Atlantic drift make North Atlantic Ocean colder. The question is that, very simple, you know, Gulf Stream is one of the suppose a strong warm ocean current in our ocean that flow in Atlantic Ocean east to the coast of America. That is true. So that is why option number 2 is incorrect. Option number 1 is correct. So only one will be the answer of 94. Now come to the next question. Which of the following country well known for two largest cocoa production? Cocoa means coffee. You know, coffee is quite popular in two different regions. The first is our South America. If we consider the map of South America, so you will find that the Brazil is one of the largest producer of cocoa or coffee. Similarly, the African country, if we consider, so here some country lies, particularly Ghana and Ivory Coast, both known for the cocoa production. This C will be the correct answer. Now, why this is going on? You know, in geography, it was the Alfred Wagner. Wagner identified the similarities and he announced, he strongly suggested that once all continents were united together. and that is the evidence. The soil and the mineral composition of rock are quite similar. They are similar in Brazil as well as in the Ghana, and that is why the similarity determines the cocoa production, and both region actually known for cocoa. Now next question. With reference of Himalaya, river joining the Ganga downstream of Prayagraj from west to east. So, बड़ा आसान क्वेश्चन है. If you aware with the river Ganga, this way Ganga basically is the name given to the main stream in Devprayag. So in Devprayag, the joint main stream confluence of Alaknanda and Bhagirathi forms river Ganga. Thereafter what happens? So several river joins Ganga. Like suppose Ram Ganga river, thereafter it is Gomati river, thereafter again it is Ghaghra river, thereafter it is Gandak river, thereafter it is Kosi river, thereafter it is Mahananda river. So this way we can identify several river joining from left bank, and this is the suppose the concern of question. So here answer will be Gomati, Ghaghra, Gandak and Kosi B. So one of the easy question based on understanding of map. Next one is consider the statement. Statement 1. Rainfall is one of the reasons for withering of rock. Yes, it is true. Due to rainfall, what happens? So, the rock experiences the water droplet, and this droplet changes the physical property of rock as well as chemical property of rock. तो दोनों बदलता है, and that is the disintegration of the rock called withering. Next one. Rainwater contains carbon dioxide in solution. Yes. Rainwater contains oxygen. So H2O, it is known. So whenever water comes, they absorbs carbon dioxide, oxygen already there, and they start interaction with the rocks, and finally what happens? Withering occurs. So be it rusting of iron, be it suppose desilication, all are result of this process. So here both statement 1 and 2 are correct, and it is well explanation of the withering process. Now next question, consider the following. The surrounding country borders with North Sea. Where North Sea is located? So you know, if we here draw the map of Europe this way. So the area here surrounded by Great Britain, Norway, Finland is called North Sea. North Sea. So as far as North Sea is concerned, Russia is quite far away from this part. This is part of Russia. So Russia must not be the answer. As far as Norway, so Norway is located here. Norway is here. So Norway, correct one. Finland. So Finland is again far away. Here Finland is not here. Germany. So some part of Germany, this is part of Germany, reaches up to the North Sea. So here Germany and Norway shares the border with North Sea. B will be the correct one. Next one, waterfall. So waterfall, you know, is the fall of water from some height. पानी का नीचे गिरना ही waterfall है, and waterfall are one of the spectacular view, offers spectacular view, and again these are one of the popular tourist destination. Several waterfalls in India, even in world, you know, Kuchikal waterfall is the highest waterfall in India. Earlier it was Jog or Gorisappa were declared. So here question is asking Dhuandhar. So it is Dhuandhar is on river Narmada. And it is located in Jabalpur. So that is correct one. Hundru in Chota Nagpur, Ranchi on Subarna Rekha. It is also true. But as far as Garesoppa is concerned, so Garesoppa, earlier declared as the highest waterfall of India, later replaced with the Kuchikal, is not on the river Netravati. Rather, it is the supposed river. अरे क्या नाम है उसका? Sorry. हाँ, Saravati river. So side with the South American suppose continent, the entire sediment converted into the fold mountain. So Andes is example of new fold mountain and Appalachian is example of old fold mountain. Answer will be 3 and 4 means only 2. Okay? This was the discussion of our geography. Now in the next soon after that I will offer you discussion on the environment ecology. So wait for the next session. I'm just coming soon. We have a detailed discussion on environment and ecology. Welcome back, dear student. So we discuss the remaining part of our this year paper, और आप जान रहे हो कि अब environment ecology के part बचे हैं, तो in this class we will discuss the remaining environment and ecology, and that will be interesting again. So keep, sir, statement 1 is incorrect while statement 2 is correct. Next one, question number 6 of the set C. Statement 1, European Parliament approved Net Zero Industry Act recently. The European Union intended to achieve carbon neutrality by 2040 and thereof aim to develop all its own clean technology by the time. What is clean technology? So clean technology are the term used to refer such technology devoid of any pollutants, any suppose emissions. So here the thing is that both statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. Reason behind it, they intended to achieve net neutrality near about 2030. They attempted to achieve that. According to Environmental Protection Agency EPA, which of the following is the largest source of sulfur dioxide? What is sulfur dioxide? So you know sulfur is kind of minerals. It found below the earth's surface in rocks, in suppose the sediments. So whenever we burns the fuels, fossil fuels, or even is extract minerals, sulfur releases. But largest as far as concerned, largest one is our power plants, particularly when when coal are being burned out, this releases. Next one is, consider the following material: agriculture residues, corn grain, wastewater treatment sludge, wood, meal waste. Which of the above can be used as feedstock of producing sustainable aviation fuel? So sustainable aviation fuel, you know, are the fuel that will be cheaper from existing one. So there are several mechanisms used to suppose extract such constituent. So all four, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, food, meals waste, water waste treatment, sludge, corn, agriculture residue are being implemented here. Even Indian government has recently decided to go with that initiatives. Again, the organism cicada, frog hopper, pond scatter are what? So a species based question become very common. You need to search these species with respect to suppose trophic level 1, trophic level 2, trophic level 3. So these are the variety of insects. Okay? These are the variety of insects found usually near the wetland, near suppose the swampland, marshland. Next one is, consider the following statement: many chewing gum found in market are considered pollution of source of environment. Yes, it is true. Why? So this chewing gum, many chewing gums contains plastic as gum base. So yes, it is true. Both statement are true, and that is why we should go with options number A. Both statement true. A will be the correct answer of this question. Okay. Now come to the next. This is very interesting. Consider the following animal found in natural habitat: idri, elk, bonobo. So these are the type of suppose primates, type of suppose orangutan, type of gorillas. Okay? Type of gorillas these are, and they are quite found different region. So here all options are wrong, and answer will be none. Means like suppose elk found in Madagascar, idri found other region, so it is wrong interpreted. Next one is, lions do not have particular breeding season. Yes, it is true. Lion is quite free from that consideration. Unlike most of big cat, cheetah do not roars. Yes, it is also true. Cheetah do not roars. Unlike lions, male leopard do not proclaim their territory by scent making. So this is wrong. 75 will have 1 and 2. The leopard does the same things. Now next question, which of the following correct description of 100 million farmers? So this is one of the lengthy question, and here the correct answer I would like to share, that is options number A. It is a platform for accelerating transition toward food and water system that are net zero, nature positive, and that aim to increase farmer income. Next one, battery storage, biomass generation, fuel cell, rooftop solar photovoltaic units. How many of above considered distributed energy resources? What is the meaning of distributed energy sources? Distributed energy sources are the sources the source of energy can be availed, can be utilized by human anytime, anywhere. So these are the small devices used to generate or store the energy. So all are kind of that. So all 4 will be the answer. Next one, which of the following show unique relationship with an insect that have coevolved with it, and that is only insect that can pollinate this tree? So here it is interesting, that is the answer is our fig. So fig is the suppose insect that perform this task. Again, consider butterfly, fish, frog. How many of above poisonous species among them? It were earlier asked. It is a repeated question, and here all 3. Some frogs suppose consider poisonous, some fishes are poisonous, some even butterflies are poisonous. So these are the things. Next one is cashew, papaya, red cedar. Above tree actually native of India. You know cashew. So cashew are being cultivated in our area of Kerala, Tamil Nadu, particularly Annamalai Hills is known for that. But interestingly, cashew is not native of India. Rather it is native of somewhere else. Papaya is also not native of India. Rather red sandal is native of India. So only one will be the correct answer of this. Next, carabid beetles, centipedes, flies, termite, wasp. Parasitoid species are found in how many of above kind of organism? So how many of organism can be considered parasitoid? Actually only 4, 88. So parasitoid are the animal that basically actually that are poisonous, that causes the death. So here actually 2 answer 4 and 5, flies, termites, and only 3 and 5. 3 and 5, how many of species? So 3 and 5 will be B or C will be the answer. Actually answer is not very clear about that. So that 90 as far as concerned. So Indian flying fox is placed under the vermin category of wildlife protection. The Indian fire fox feeds blood to other animals. So that is incorrect. Indian fire fox usually actually eats fruits and all such kind of suppose available meals. So here answer will be C. C statement B is incorrect one, statement A is correct one. Okay? So as far as environment is concerned, some tricky questions have been asked. It is quite unknown, quite suppose a fresh question UPSC attempted to offer here. As far as geography, Indian polity, I discussed over conventional more than suppose the fresh list. Again, what I say at last, that you should expect about 45 to 50 questions and about 90 to 95 the safe area. If you have suppose achieved this deadline, you should prepare for your mains examination, and you would prepare the mains examination. You should focus on your suppose optional paper, or focus on suppose writing practices. That will be your next venue, next venture. So without wasting the time, I suggest you to start preparation if you have obtained about 90 to 95 marks or 45 क्वेश्चंस एटलीस्ट. ठीक है, तो 45 क्वेश्चन अगर बन रहे हैं तो एकदम पक्का हो जाओ कि मेंस लिख रहे हैं, मेंस की तैयारी शुरू कर देते हैं. और 45 को अगर डबल 2 से गुना कर दें तो लगभग 90 से 95 के बीच में